Do subscribe to Ekeeda channel and press bell icon to get updates about latest engineering, HSC and IIT JEE main and advanced videos.
Partial pressure of PO2 and PCO2. Now PO2 stands for partial pressure of oxygen and PCO2 stands for partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Whenever you inhale air, now this air is just a mixture of every gas that's present around your atmosphere. It would include oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, dust grains, bacteria, etc. So whenever you inhale those air, alveoli or air sacs are basically the primary sites which are permeable and which allow the exchange of gases, that is O2 goes to blood and CO2 is removed. There is a process of simple diffusion that helps in this exchange of gases. Now simple diffusion, if I have to say in a simple and detailed form, I could say that it is the movement of gaseous molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. Also, the solubility of the gases as well as the thickness of the membrane, that is the respiratory membrane, a very important factor that affects diffusion. And partial pressure could be said as the pressure that's exhibited by an individual gas, which could be O2 or CO2, when they are present in the mixture of gases. And that basically happens when the diaphragm contracts or relaxes, or whenever the air pressure inside the respiratory system is increased or decreased during the process of inhalation or exhalation. Now, whenever inhalation and exhalation occurs, there is a movement or shifting in the thoracic cavity, the movement in lungs, your diaphragm moves, contracts and relaxes. That time partial pressure inside the system would increase and decrease eventually. Partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now, if I talk about partial pressure that's exhibited by oxygen and carbon dioxide, it would vary because oxygen, when it reaches to the tissues or lungs and it's done going to different system of the body, during the inhalation process, the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide would be equal, but once the process actually starts, then the partial pressure would increase and decrease simultaneously or sometimes just be equal. Now, alveoli are the primary site of gaseous exchange, and alveoli are basically permeable, which allow the exchange of gases. During the process of simple diffusion or just by using simple diffusion, the exchange of gases like O2 and CO2 take place. So alveoli take the help of simple diffusion just to do that exchange process. Also, the solubility of the gases. Now, for example, whether that gas is soluble in blood or in lymph or in water, what is the scenario? It depends upon that, as well as the thickness of the membrane. For example, if we talk about the trachea region, it will be a slightly more thicker as compared to your pharynx, which is your nasopharynx or oropharynx region. And as we move down, your bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli will have differences in thickness and diameter, are important factors that would affect diffusion. So partial pressure by an individual gas or a gas just alone in a mixture of gases is termed as partial pressure of that particular gas, and it can be represented as PO2 for oxygen, and in the case of carbon dioxide, partial pressure is represented as PCO2. So whenever there is a formation of carbonic anhydrase, RBCs are present, hemoglobin is present, enzymes are present, the partial pressure varies. For example, especially during the alveolar region where oxygen is being carried away to the tissues or organs and CO2 is carried away outside the respiratory system, where carbonic anhydrase is formed and it is bicarbonate formation taking place in the presence of carbonic anhydrase. The partial pressure may vary. Students, in this part of the chapter, we did study about partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide. I hope you all are very clear about this concept. Thank you.